health and your money. And my topic today is dangerous chiropractor. Guess what? 5 hours ago, I didn't know what my topic would be, and for sure not about chiropractor. But I'm sitting at 7 a.m. in front of my TV. I'm watching CBS, and they are talking about a case. The case is Katie May. Maybe you heard that too. She died with 34 years last week after a visit at her chiropractor. She put on Twitter that she has a pinched nerve and she wanted to visit the chiropractor for opening up that part. So she went to the chiropractor, and next day she was dead. And there was a lot of information there, how dangerous that is. And because I also go to my chiropractor, but I go once a year for the same issue, I was thinking it would be interesting to talk about that. I see a lot of times that my members here also at Fit and Fight Holistic Gym, they go regularly to chiropractor, and I'm personally completely against it. The chiropractor is not there to sign up in a membership. The chiropractor is there when you have normally pinched nerves, you have back pain, they take a look at the back, and then they can adjust. And in Germany, especially in Europe, they teach that you are adjustable once a year and not more than that, because it would loosen the disc. All these adjustments would loosen the disc, and they strongly oppose every week adjustments. If you just think about it, the spine is made to be loose and to be flexible, and if you start interfering in that to loosen it up with adjustments, then maybe you are interfering in something where you should not. And I can see that in Germany they have a point there that once a year makes sense. Now, last year I got a pinched nerve here on my neck because I'm getting older. Yeah. And I realized that in the nighttime, these three middle fingers, they are numb in the morning. It's like they would not be there. And also my whole right arm goes all above here the shoulder and into the arm. It feels, it hurts. I did not know, is that a muscle, is that my shoulder, or what could that be? So I went to a very good chiropractor. She was also 3 times on my radio show. I really researched her well. She is well educated, and she didn't do her degree in an online class. She is a real chiropractor. She is with her heart in it. So I visited her, and she made an x-ray. She showed me that from aging, that soft part in between the discs is getting smaller and smaller on one side. So the discs are pushing the nerve, and you could really see that. And that's when the right arm starts getting numb and the fingers getting numb. That's a side effect of a pinched nerve. And the nerve is really big. It's like, I could not even imagine how big. It's like a bunch of nerves coming out of the one of the discs here. I'm not a chiropractor, so I cannot tell you which disc that is. So I went to her once. She adjusted my head, and it felt great. The pain was gone, the numbness was gone. And I went back 10 months later. It came back, and she told me that's an aging process. So when we open that up, so you have space again between the two discs, it will come down again. It's from aging. So exactly 10 months later, I got the same problem again, and I got adjusted. Now it will be 11 months, and I'm still without pain. And if I can go once a year, that's fine with me. And that's in resemblance with what I learned in Germany, that I should not go more than once a week. Now, honestly, reading this or hearing this in the news today on CBS with the death case of Katie, I was looking into that, and they say that she had a stroke the next day and died right there. So it's chiropractor malpractice. It's a pinched nerve. It was an emergency case later, and then she just died. And from the pinched nerve, I don't know what the chiropractor did, but he did probably not do what he was supposed to do. And I'm honestly, I'm afraid. I'm afraid, and I will call her in the next days, my own chiropractor, and I will talk about that and how she sees the case, because she is still a chiropractor and she stands for her job and she is really committed to it. She's also specialized in pregnant women and little babies. I cannot really see the point why babies have to adjust to be adjusted, but whatever, whatever. It's a case where it makes me worried. I have the same problem and I really don't want to die the next day after I get adjusted. But again, how often did you hear when you went to a chiropractor that you should sign up for 12 weeks, for 36 weeks, or how long? How often did you hear that? And this is just not what I personally believe in. And you should really consider that in the Wall Street Journal was 2 days ago an article about chiropractic, and it said it was on the 19th of October. You can Google it. Medicare spent $359 million in unnecessary chiropractic cases in 2013. It was an audit from Medicare, and there's a lot of fraud going on there too. Also, when somebody's bumping into your car, there is the lawyer who immediately wants to make money, and the second after him making money is sending you to a chiropractor. Now, 3 months ago, somebody bumped into my car. It was a light bump. I had my head moving forward, but there was nothing. There was nothing. I waited a little bit and there was nothing. So why should I go to a chiropractor then if there is nothing? Not every movement is always pain, and you don't have to sue immediately everybody. Sometimes it happens. He was texting probably behind me. He didn't see that the guy in front of me stopped. I had to stop too, and so he bumped slightly into my car. But there was nothing really happening. No problem. So not every case has to be sued or has to go to a lawyer, to a chiropractor really. And think about that. Now, this Wall Street Journal report is very interesting. I have to go more into that, how much malpractice really is going on. If you don't feel comfortable with the chiropractor going there, then probably you should not. You should really talk to an orthopedic, ask him what he thinks about it. And I love my orthopedic, my chiropractor, I have to say, and I will go back there once a year, even though I'm a little bit afraid. It feels uncomfortable, but it makes sense to open up my spine to be pain free. And again, I go one, maximum 2 times. I would never go more than that. Your decision, I would never do it. You think about that and look around. How many chiropractors do we have? In Germany, we have, like, in my city where I'm coming from, we have 250,000 people. There are maybe 5 chiropractors for 250,000 people. That's how, I don't want to say unusual it is to go to a chiropractor, but it's not an everyday thing. It's really there to adjust and to bring alignment in the spine when it's out of whack. And it's not always out of whack. Believe me, it's not always. It's not like you are walking around, you are pain free, and then you have to go to a chiropractor. I really don't believe in this. I don't. Also, I have another thing going on here in Florida called Stretchzone. In my opinion, a very, very dangerous franchise which getting bigger and bigger. I was there 2 years ago because they wanted to come on my radio show. And before I had guests on my show, I always tried the service myself or tried the product myself if I can stand up for it. So I went to headquarters. It was in Aventura here in south of Fort Lauderdale. And the guy, they just started up. They just had opened the first stretch zone business, and that was at their headquarters. And their main teacher, their trainer, wanted to stretch me. And I said, I have lower back problems from all the heavy squats from my world champion times, and he has to be very careful. He put me into a stretch anyway, didn't listen to me. He put me in a stretch so fast I could not even react. I was not able to get my body straight up, standing straight up for 3 days, and that Was Stretchzone the main trainer who can do it the best? So you have to be very, very careful with this. It's a big franchising. They have big money coming, supporting them to get bigger. Really